Can't win the same. Like a beat, and I don't. Never get tired of that. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Cinestro course. Your boy Blacksby, and today we are getting real robotic with it. We're talking about Wild Robot in theaters now and Transformers One, plus a little bit more about animation. We might dive into some other topics too here in a little bit. But let's get started right with it. Top of the list, Oscar winner, The Wild Robot. This movie.
Well, let's preface by saying that although we have shit on animation as a whole on this podcast.
No, you.
And I just want to preface by saying it is a bit. Honestly, I do obviously understand the hard work that goes into making animated projects, whether that be film or TV. Or any other shorts, whatever. I understand and respect it as a medium, and I do think that it is a great medium by which wonderful storytelling is told. And a lot of this shit I give anime and like animated projects, like calling them cartoons and stuff, is just a joke. before we start this animation centric episode, I just wanted to preface that and just shout out to all the people involved. It's incredibly hard work to make an animated project that, countless hours, oftentimes overworked, underpaid, and so, shout out to them, and, hopefully they all get treated with respect and dignity that they deserve, and continue making wonderful, beautiful art.
Absolutely.
That being said,
our resident cartoon hater
from resident grown man who hates cartoons.
No, yeah, it's true. He's right. It is a bit. We do appreciate and love, all forms of media here.
Of course.
And animation is a form of media. It's a great medium to tell stories. A lot of the things we've seen this last 2 years since we've been doing this podcast, almost 2 years. In a month, it'll be 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen some movies that could have been way better as animated projects. We've seen some other animated projects that could have maybe or may or may not have been better in live action. It depends. Yeah. But animation does deserve a lot more credit. All the folks who do animate, the various movies and
a lot more respect.
Shows.
I think there is a lot of people who have an incredibly reductive view on it, and much like the bit, or just like, well, these are cartoons, you can't, that. But we've been proven, obviously, time and time again, that is not the case, right? That very, very pertinent kind of stories can be told via whatever medium.
Mm-hmm.
The medium does not matter as long as the filmmaking and the storytelling is good. And I think that's the main takeaway from it. But yes, people, please respect animation. It's
absolutely it's like one of the things we do talk about a lot whenever, especially when we bring up your superheroes and comic book adjacent projects and media. One of the things that DC does shine a lot at, the previous regime, the DC animated movie universe, all the the Flashpoint Paradox and all those related films went really, really well. They looked great. The voice acting was great. I had no real negatives about them. That's something that Marvel has yet to catch up on animation wise. They're getting there bit by bit. Like X-Men 97 was the first major hit to me from Marvel animation wise. Mm-hmm. And we'll see more as time goes on. We got Creature Commandos coming in December. Of course, the previous things that we talked about in our text chat, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish was a banger.
Uzumaki, that show that's based on adapted from an anime that's coming out on Adult Swim, which I think just debuted, and it's on HBO Max.
On
stuff
Max,
like that. So.
HBO Max BO, or whatever they call it.
And of course, and I'm very well versed in anime, but I know that it has its fans, and I know that some incredibly interesting and exciting storytelling is being done on that front as well. So we do, all jokes aside, we do respect it, and I think we do give it its time. But we decided, considering these past couple weeks, kind of the recent projects that have come out that are two of the best movies probably of the year, and they're both animated films. We figured that we not shine a light on them, but talk about them and kind of give you our thoughts. And
give them some shine, give them a little shine,
exactly.
Nah, yeah, it was definitely an experience going into the theater these last couple of weeks. And we'll start at the top with one of probably my favorite animated project in the last like 5 years. It's so good. So good. The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot was a phenomenal piece of work all around, you know. There was
written and directed by Chris Sanders. Chris Sanders, for those of you who may not know, is one of the creators of Lilo and Stitch. He voiced Stitch as well, and he also is like the creative force behind the How to Train Your Dragon movies, which I've never seen, but are critically, commercially kind of like, you know, successful and acclaimed. So yeah, exactly. So cinema. You know, so a man with a proven track record, I think, when it comes to animation. But yeah, adapted from a book by Peter Brown, a series of children's books by Peter Brown.
So that means we're getting 2 Wild 2 Robots soon, inshallah. Then we're getting
2 Wild 2 Robot. Yeah,
the Wild Robot 3, Robot Drift. Something
Robot
Drift. We need
Robonaissance.
The Robonaissance.
Yeah, exactly. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But what were you saying?
No, yeah, I was gonna lead into that too. Chris Sanders has touched a lot of different projects, and his craft is just, it speaks for itself. He's so good, and I knew going into this, I'm like, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna have a great time. I knew I was gonna experience emotions. I was gonna laugh. I cried. I was like, this is a good film. It's good for families, and it's good for grown people too. Like, that's the thing about animation that's so beautiful. You don't have to be a kid to enjoy it.
It's incredibly accessible, right? I think a lot of people would argue that it's quite the opposite. People are like, oh, it's off-putting when you see an animated, but I don't think that's the case at all. I think because it's animation, a lot of people tend to go in with their guard down, right? Or with their with the bar set pretty low, because they're like, what's a cartoon? It's a children's thing, right? And I think that's when it kicks your ass. You're like, whoa, I didn't expect this animated film, you know, which I have preconceived notions about, to kind of, you know, to be as moving or as touching or as powerful or as speak about important messages as much as it did. And I think that's a tool to its to its credit. You know, I think it can be incredibly disarming, right? Because you go into it expecting something, and once you're there, it's like how genre works. You know, as a Trojan horse to tell, you know, very, you know, interesting and pertinent stories about the real world, and, you know, it works a lot in allegories and metaphors. You know, animation does the very same thing. So, yeah, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you again. Matthew's eating some homemade chocolate chip cookies, which is why we caught him at a bad time.
It's so good, bro. The cookie's so good. Just like this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I went in, especially knowing from the trailers that we saw leading up to, I was like, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be something good. Definitely a family film.
Yeah.
And when I went in, I was blown away. It's just so visually stunning.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's animated beautifully, and it's the last movie by DreamWorks that's going to be animated in-house. Yeah. Following this, everything, they're kind of like they're using other studios to animate their films. So, like, I don't know. We don't know what that means. You know, we don't know what that means. But, you know, if this really is their last kind of, you know, hoorah, I think it's a beautiful film to go out on. I think it's a incredibly high. If this is the last, you know, DreamWorks movie that's being animated in-house, I mean, it looks beautiful. It's visually stunning.
It's a similar, I think it's the same art style as Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Also DreamWorks, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's when it, like what David mentioned, how you know, the old the DreamWorks of old, the golden age DreamWorks, when we had the Prince of Egypt and Joseph King of Dreams, that art style. Just crazy.
Prince of Egypt. I don't know why. I swear to God, I thought about the Jake Gyllenhaal.
Prince of Persia.
Prince
no,
of Persia.
Hell
I was
no.
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. He was fake.
Road to El Dorado is classic DreamWorks as well.
Road to El Dorado. Yeah. Those movies. What's up, son? What's up, my son? This is my son. Hey guys, say hi to Jupiter. But yes, those 3 films right there were just, and Sinbad. Can't forget Sinbad.
That's right.
That animation style was just killing it back in the 90s, 2000s. And then moving forward, they had Shrek. Like David said, Shrek changed the game animation wise.
Yeah.
Because there was more of that 3D art style.
Yeah.
And studios started
which a lot of
adapting
studios
that more.
To, right? Yeah, Pixar, big, a pioneer in the space of 3D animation. Yeah, of course.
Pixar dominates on the 3D side. You've seen all the Toy Story and everything up since then. But like, there's now this kind of not regression. What's the word I'm looking for? Return to previous form with that 2D animation. So it's kind of like almost animation. Like a 2D 3D blend,
which makes sense because what's his name? Chris Sanders is cited as saying that this is the inspiration for this movie was a classic Disney animated films and Hayao Miyazaki, which is 2D animation at its finest, and those I think those are very big, important, kind of powerful things to draw from, right? When you're like, okay, we want to make this movie's inspired by some of the greatest animated movies of all time, and some of the greatest movies ever made, So I think his intention was very was noted, and you can see it throughout the film. Can we just mention really quickly how like this voice cast and how stacked it is,
bro?
Right, Lupita Nyong'o,
bro.
Lupita Nyong'o is the main character, Roz.
The real bro. Like,
let me just list them off real quick. Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Kit Connors, who I'm not familiar with. I know he's on the popular Netflix show on Heartstopper, right? Bill Nighy, Stephanie Sue, Mark Hamill, Catherine O'Hara, Matt Berry, and Ving Rhames.
Most elite voice cast that has ever assembled for an animated film in a long time.
And usually when you get like big stars like that, it seems like their performances in animated movies are overloaded, but it also seems like they're phoned in. It feels like everybody in this entire cast was like, they're like, we're committed to this and we're gonna give this our all, because like Pedro Pascal, I thought he was, I know I'm a glazer, but I thought he was phenomenal. I was like, whoa, that was
the best, like the most amazing, pleasant surprise, because we've seen him in so many different acting roles. We saw him in what's it called? Amazing Weight of what's it called? The Massive Talent. Of course, we've seen him in Talent. Of course, we've seen him in The Last of Us. We've seen him in the little clips that we've seen from
Mando, which is a very voiceover heavy performance from him.
And even moreover, Mando's voiceover, you can still kind of tell, like, okay, this is Pedro, but like him as the freaking fox, bro. And the difference, I mean, yes, it's Pedro, but like the difference between his performance there and in Mandalorian, and then in other roles, I was like, this is so crazy, seeing this Oscar-worthy actor, do it in another form of media, in another form of storytelling, and just completely crush it. He gave the Fox Fink some real depth, some real emotion. It wasn't like he was just playing into like, oh, look at me, I'm a fox. Hell yeah, Houston just won MLS.
Real time.
No, I'm saying.
Real time.
No, I'm saying. R.I.P. Astros season, but guess what, baby? Texans up.
And Dynamo.
MLS Dynamo up. Rockets next, baby. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Word to Roz. Pedro Pascal cooked. Of course, Catherine O'Hara. We love Catherine O'Hara. That's Mama McAllister off of Home Alone. Mama from Beetlejuice, Schitt's Creek. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just,
I just really want to give props to like Lupita Nyong'o, who is Oscar-winning actress, phenomenal, and I think she's actually incredibly underutilized in Hollywood.
Yes.
I think obviously colorism and racism and just the fact that there's not a lot of good roles for like a black woman in general. I think she's a victim of that. But man, time and time again, she proves to us that she is a generational fucking talent. She is an Oscar winner for a reason, and one of the greatest actresses, I think, of her generation. She is amazing. Using only her voice, she takes the audience on a journey. You know, it's like her. And I read an article where it said that her and Chris Sanders talked about how, you know, the robot doesn't have facial expressions, so you're gonna have to do a lot of work with your voice, and it's gonna have to change from the beginning to the end, and you're gonna have to take us on that arc. And it was just like, it's amazing, dude. She was just phenomenal, and she imbued this character with so much passion and you know, humanity and vulnerability and beauty and kind of like this childlike wonder. And it was such a beautiful experience. And then they could not have cast a better. I think it was, you know, spot on casting, giving Lupita Nyong'o to voice Roz, because man, she knocked it out of the park.
And I mean, we've seen her. Obviously, we've seen her in, you know, Us and Black Panther and Wakanda Forever,
12 Years a Slave,
and 12 Years a Slave. But her voice acting and as Maz Kanata,
there you go,
in Star Wars,
her mocap, right?
As in the Jungle Book, like she's done other voice roles before, and like this one here is particularly special because, like you said, the robot has no facial expressions.
Right.
The other characters that she's voice acted for have some form of, you know, facial expression. There's a way for the characters. She had to do a lot with just her voice, and also the character, the robot changes over the course of the film from a standard, you know, trying to complete their task robot to this maternal figure that has taken care of the whole forest, you know, and just seeing that change through her voice, not even just the movie itself, the animation itself and the movie playing along. Her voice alone, you can tell there's a difference from first frame to the middle of the movie to the end, and it's just such a great experience. It's so pleasing, and like you said, Lupita is underutilized. She is an icon, and they should be putting her in more things.
My Afro.
If you don't queen. My Mexican
Kenyan queen.
Let's go, baby. We represent. It's like if me and Luis freaking did the fusion dance off Dragon Ball Z.
Basically.
And
we were a beautiful woman, one of the most beautiful women of all time.
Exactly.
I just want to talk, like, I'm very, like, my girlfriend makes fun of me because I cry at movies all the time. I cried at Guardians 3.
Bro,
I cried all the time. But like, this movie made me sob audibly multiple times. And that's not to say it's sad. It's not necessarily like the most sad thing I've ever seen, but I just think you just get you're so invested in these characters, you're so invested in this story that it's just, you know, you can't help but when they're hurt, you're hurt. And look, maybe it has to do with the fact that I just got back from Houston. I just got back from visiting my family, and I miss my mom a lot. And, you know, and then seeing this movie about motherhood and found family and, you know, mother-son relationships, and, you know, like, you know, it was so beautiful, and it was so heartwarming, and it was so touching, and it was so wonderfully and beautifully crafted. It's just, you can't help but feel the feels when watching this. And just props to everybody, man, because that's what, you know, good storytelling is, at its best, right? It speaks to you on a human level, right?
That's just the main thing with animation. A lot of projects that we've seen on the animated front are fueled by good storytelling, and it's paired with in amazing animation. DreamWorks, like we said, DreamWorks is a powerhouse when it comes to animated films. I haven't had anything negative to say about any of their films I've seen so far. And then
Megamind's kind of dog shit.
Yeah, we don't talk about Megamind.
Megamind's dog shit.
That's one of those where it's like,
I saw a letterbox review that was like, this is DreamWorks apologizing for Megamind, and I was like, yeah, I get it. But it's just,
I mean, like, you know, DreamWorks has all them bangers in there, so it's like, it's okay. One miss here and there.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it doesn't.
But but I think this is so admirable. You know, it's like an original story, like adapted from obviously a book, but it's, you know, they took a chance on this story. It's not a sequel. Maybe it'll you know, sequels will come out of it, but it's like an original idea, you know, and they took a chance on it, and look at what it's doing. It's outperforming Megaflopolis, you know, and so
mid Gaflopolis, that trash
suck on
movie.
my cockpolis, you know. So it's like I don't know, man. I can't say enough. Just go out there, watch it. You know, it's beautiful. Everybody will take something from this, whether it be, you know, how beautiful the art style is, how wonderful the voice acting is, how beautiful the story is, and how engaging and touching the characters are. What, you know, everybody will take something positive away from this, and it's just a wonderful time at the movies. Take your family, take everybody, and you know, you'll all enjoy.
Lock in for this, and just support these guys. And animation, like I said, is a slept on medium, and animators, we've heard horror stories about how animators get worked to the bone. Support hardworking animators. There's a reason why there was these strikes last year, and seeing all the outcry about wanting to be paid fair and treated with respect and appreciated for the hard work they do, and dignity, and like, I can't even imagine, you know, putting in 90 hours a week on something and then nobody going to see it. You know, that would break my soul. If I put all that work in and no one came to see my movie, you know, I feel bad. So please support Pearland's very own RJ Peña is on this team. Great team that they put together to make this film. And of course, like I said, DreamWorks in general. I have no real negatives for DreamWorks, so go ahead and support another animated film that we saw.
Before I just want to shout out Chris Bowers, who's the composer on this film. Incredibly talented young man. He just won an Oscar for the short The Last Repair Shop at last year's Oscar, and he's just incredibly talented. He's composed for movies like Green Book, King Richard, The Color Purple, and obviously The Wild Robot, which is his first animated film. He's done TV, Bridgerton, Miss America, Dear White People, When They See Us. And just, you know, just shout out to Chris. You know, music obviously is such a film is such a visual medium, but such an auditory one as well. And without great composers and without great music, you know, film would not be the art form that it is. And so, you know, just wanted to shout it out because the composition on this film and the music is beautiful. So, you know, shout out Oscar winner Chris Bowers.
My goat. Music, like you said, music is important. I'm a band nerd myself, so I appreciate a good score.
I'm not because I was a fucking loser, but you know.
No, the only losers are the ones that didn't start playing band, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were. I'll give them props on being the horniest and most drug addicted people I knew in high school were band people. So, you know, incredibly.
Who said it stopped in high school?
But yeah.
No.
Shout out.
But no, yeah, just having a great score. I mean, look at the Batman, bro. 2022, that film came out, and we still talk about it to this day.
Yeah, Michael Giacchino, right?
Michael, and then his brother. Or is it his cousin, Mick Giacchino?
Oh, he composes too? I didn't know that.
For the Penguin.
Oh, really?
I noted that as soon as I saw it, because I watch the credits for everything.
Can be nepo babies too.
Yeah, that's my type of carrying on.
I love it. If you're talented and your relatives are just as talented, I'm all for it.
That's his son. My bad. That's his son.
Oh shit! Really?
That's my type of nepo carrying on. I like that.
Hell yeah! Fuck
I
yeah!
like that.
The composition on the Penguin is
phenomenal.
Is amazing as well. So
it's so good. So yeah.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
At all. The apple's right next to the tree. Shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, yeah. So speaking of robots, man, we're gonna transform onto a next topic.
Yeah,
that was
that's
easy. That one was too easy. That was way too easy. Too easy. I know we got to do another one.
In case you guys didn't tell by our screen names, yeah.
Yeah, Orion Blacks, bro.
Oh, you're not gonna read mine?
I might get, shadow
Autobots. Hold out.
I might get shadow banned off this one. No, we're talking
Transformers
Transformers 1. And I'm gonna preface, Transformers has been so many like highs and lows.
Yeah.
More lows than highs because you had the Mark Wahlberg films.
Which we don't talk about.
But we started off well, really starting off with the OG Transformers back when we were kids. The cartoon went hard as a child. And then trying to see them bring that to the big screen in live action was interesting. Because the first movie, I like that one. They started off strong.
I was about to say, I feel like there's a bit of a what's it called?
A mixed audience.
A resurgence of people who really like that first Michael Bay movie and are like, this isn't as bad as people say it is or as we remember, because they're holding it up in comparison to all the rest of the Transformer movies that have come since then.
If we didn't get what's that first, not the Last Night, what's the one before it?
Dark Side of the Moon?
The Age of Extinction. If we didn't get Age of Extinction in The Last Night, we wouldn't appreciate 07 Transformers.
Exactly. No, that's true.
Because that fit was so bad, bro.
Just when you thought
the best part,
worse, Michael Bay said, "Watch."
He said, "Watch this." Hey,
he said, "Bet."
The best part
that was dog shit. I'll show you real dog shit.
The best part of Age of Extinction, the first best part was when it ended. But the second best part was when they nuked T.J. Miller. When that motherfucker locked down, terminated that boy. I was like, yeah. I stood up at my seat. I said, let's go. But the seeing Transformers just have these highs and lows over the years, and coming back to a movie that was not marketed the way it should have been. No. This film, no cap, is more than meets the eye. I'm using that. That's another one.
He says corny, but he said it rings true.
Paramount signed the check. No, it really was like I walked into this film, and off the trailers I watched, I was like, this is gonna be very goofy. It's gonna be geared towards kids, and it was. However, it does bring in the older crowd, the folks who have watched the original Transformers,
millennials who grew up on it and watched all the live action movies, who were kind of the built-in fan base. Well, and animation brings in. I think Transformers are just very like they have a wide appeal. Just robots
turn to cars. That shit cool as hell, bro.
It is cool.
If you went to a remote location and you're like, hey, bro, check this out, and it's a fucking my Dodge truck turned into a damn Gundam and starts battling niggas, bro. I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm locked.
I think it was a very smart idea to go back to animation. Like you said, the live action movies have been so hit and miss. That they're just like, you know what? Let's go back to square one. We'll do an origin story on these characters that we know are beloved, that we know are popular, and we'll do animation. They're like that way we have a lot more. Our imagination is going to run a lot more wild. It'll be a little bit cheaper, and we'll kind of it'll be incredibly nostalgic because we'll be calling back on the cartoon that a lot of people grew up on. And I think getting Josh Cooley, who directed this film, I think was incredibly smart. For those who don't know, he was a longtime storyboard artist for Pixar and Disney. He was a storyboard artist on films like The Incredibles, the first two Car movies, Ratatouille, Up, etc. But most importantly, he directed Toy Story 4, which is an Oscar-winning movie. And so, that in and of itself already gives it a level of pedigree that you're like, okay, at least this movie's in good hands, And I haven't seen it, so I don't know. So I'll let you kind of, cook.
So, I mean, as you know, the Bayverse was, But this film definitely starts off in a way I was hoping it would. It's an origin film of Optimus Prime and Megatron back before they were even Optimus Prime and Megatron, Orion Pax and D16 respectively. And you see them grow as characters. You see Megatron, D16 turning into Megatron over the course of the film, going from a mostly happy optimist. I want to say optimistic, or not necessarily optimistic. He gets dragged into a lot of shit by Orion Pax. Optimus causing shit, causing chaos. My type of carrying on. But D16 for the most part is like, that's my boy. I back him up. I'm with him. And you can see that dynamic change throughout the film, and you get the malicious, vengeful, villainous Megatron that we see in all the movies and all the other iterations. And it's a good explanation of what what causes the rift between them. So I will definitely commend the voice cast, bruh. Let me tell you right now.
If we thought the Wild Robot cast was stacked,
This is the real Avengers. This is the Avengers of freaking
I mean, quite literally, a lot of MCU actors.
Oh yeah, bro. Let's start at the top. Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth surprised me, bro, because I thought he was just gonna be,
Really?
I thought I was just gonna be hearing Thor talk the whole time.
He did an American accent.
No, he got the American accent down, but you can tell he's trying. You can tell he's like, I'm trying to do something with this, and he really shifts into Optimus mode in the third act of the movie, and it's so surprising.
So there's an arc, much like Lupita Nyong'o and the Wild Robot. You see Chris and Optimus have an arc. Okay,
and even
that's very reassuring.
And then opposite of him is one of my favorite fucking actors right now.
One of the best in the game.
Brian Tyree Henry, you can never do any wrong in my eyes, bro.
No,
seeing him in Eternals, hearing him in Spider-Verse, hearing him in this.
Brian delivers in every single thing he's in.
Fucking Bullet Train.
It might be the worst movie you've ever seen. That
Bullet Train.
Godzilla versus Kong movie, Bullet Train. But Brian Tyree Henry will always be great.
He don't miss.
He do
not miss. Like you're straight goat. So having him in this film was definitely like, all right, y'all made a good decision. This is how you select the cast. So and his performance as D16 Megatron over the course of the film, bro. My gosh, great voice acting.
But just look at the rest of this stacked ass cast. Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence
Scarlett Johansson.
I know Lawrence Fishburne and John Hamm. I'm not saying she's good. I'm just saying,
those are like heavy hitters.
Those are heavy hitters, right? For the most part, B to A plus, listers. So and like we had said earlier about the Wild Robot, it's so easy for a lot of these like big time A plus Hollywood stars to phone it in. So it's very reassuring and encouraging and exciting to hear that people like Chris Hemsworth were like, no, yes, I got paid a fuck ton of money, but I'm invested in this character, I'm invested in this story, and I want to give it, the respect and the care that it deserves. So
absolutely. And
how was Scarlett though? I know you're just like, and I know we're not huge fans of her, but was she okay?
She was okay. It wasn't great though.
But it was Scarlett Johansson.
Like at times you can tell it was her, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's times where you're like, bro, everyone else is out voice acting her right now, and it's not good.
I mean, that's not hard, right? It's not hard to out act Scarlett Johansson.
Period. And I mean, even Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee, B-127.
Oh, he was Bumblebee?
He was clearly a comedic role, but like it was still even still there was still some
Keegan's amazing.
He was doing great. Fantastic.
Keegan's that dude.
He's him.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great film. Bro, and then of course having
speak on because you had originally there's a lot of positive word of mouth going around. People are saying that it's amazing and it's great, and although you liked it, you didn't feel like it was all. Can you speak on that a little bit? You didn't think it was like the greatest thing since sliced bread?
Yeah, it's got some very good points, some very I have to think about how to word this. Give me 1 second.
No, you had said I think in the group chat you had said that the first two or the 2/3 of the movie were not as great as like 1/3 of the movie, right? That for the most part the movie was okay. It was all right, but it wasn't the greatest thing you'd ever seen. So before Matt lets us know exactly what it is that he wasn't a big fan of in this movie, I just want to mention something about Josh Cooley really quick, which is that he also has a screenwriting credit as well as was a story supervisor on Inside Out, which is considered by many as probably the one of the like top tier Pixar movies. So that just goes to show, like, you know, what we've been saying on the show, which is that if you hire talented, competent people, you know, chances are it'll pay off for you. But yeah, sorry, all that to say, you know, what was it exactly about this movie that you were like, this keeps it from being like a 10 out of 10 or like one of the, you know, better than The Wild Robot, for example?
You know, The Wild Robot has two things like leading that movie through whatever it's going to go through. The storyline and the performances in there. Because everyone in that movie, there's no one I'm like they're not bringing their all, you know.
Right.
But on Transformers 1, my biggest drawback voice casting wise was probably Scarlett, and that's not to like knock her down. It's just that everyone else is performing better than she was.
Yeah,
you know, Brian
she's the weakest link.
Yeah, and I mean Brian Tyree Henry, I can never say anything wrong about him. Chris Hemsworth, I love him in most of the stuff he's in, and then hearing him do his best. And mind you, Peter Cullen is a hard act to follow.
Incredible.
Peter Cullen is
almost
one of
impossible.
the greatest voice actors of our generation. He's up there.
Of all time.
Bro. No, I'm not going to get into a tangent on that because I'm going to start listing everybody. But Peter Cullen, in terms of Transformers, one of the most iconic voices in Transformers history. Obviously, in all of Transformers, but dude, oh my gosh, Chris Hemsworth, especially like I said, that last third of the movie, bro, he starts doing some things. I'm like, you can tell he's really trying his best to be like, hey, I am Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm trying to lead my people.
You know, in the long term, I think it's better than not trying. So, you know, props to him.
And then of course everybody else in that movie, you know, having Lawrence Fishburne and Steve Buscemi in a movie, two of very iconic actors, and then having John Hamm as the villain. John Hamm.
Oh, he's the villain. I was gonna ask who he plays.
He plays Sentinel Prime, if you don't mind spoilers, but
that's cool.
That's who he plays in this movie. He's great. He does a lot with his voice too. And it's interesting watching this film, seeing all these people, all these parts play together, and of course seeing the different Transformers characters, Soundwave, Shockwave. There's Jazz in there. Like, it's great having all these callbacks to the various characters and eras across the Transformers universe. So, you know, my positives were, of course, the main voice cast. The last third was phenomenal. The fight scenes were awesome. My biggest drawbacks were that the score itself was louder. At some points, the score was louder than the actual dialogue, and I couldn't understand what the characters were saying. I don't know if that was my theater problem.
Could that have been on purpose, maybe, do you think?
Possibly. I'm not sure. But I just felt like I couldn't understand what was going on. I was like, I can't hear y'all. So that was my one main critique, and then my other main critique was and then my other major gripe was that the first 2/3 of the movie kind of dragged at points. It was like I felt like I could have zoned out a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like I was like, the beginning started off great. I was like, okay, here we go. We're in Cybertron, and is Pax and D16. They're minor bots, and they're just some, you know, they're trying to make a name for themselves and build up and do all that typical, you know.
They're working up to the this is Megatron and this is Optimus shit, and this is when shit starts popping off, right?
And then once it gets to the actual meat and potatoes of the film, they start discovering the whole, you know, what's going on with the Matrix of leadership, all that stuff. That's when it starts to get a little bit better and better and better.
Yeah.
And then once they get the ability, you know, like, it just gets good towards that last third. And I mean, it is definitely, it's a slow burn, but not in the sense of like, it's like, how do I put it? I'm trying to think of another film that has a similar, you know.
It's got its flaws. It's got its, you know, its shortcomings. It's slow moments. It's you know, it's less than stellar, segments of the film, which happens. It's hard. It's hard to make. It's hard to make movies. It's hard to tell stories. They can't all be, for example, the Wild Robot, which I think is like engaging and perfectly paced, and just kind of like coherent and strong and propelling all the way through. We didn't give these movies any ratings, by the way.
Oh, bro, I'll tell you right now.
You've seen both, so you go for it.
I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna start with Transformers 1. I give that one a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Because it's not bad at all. If anyone tells you it's bad, they're fucking lying. Because it is good. I know I said it's great. I said it's good, but not as great as it could have been, because that's just me personally. There's more things I wanted to see from it.
Of course.
And again, that's to each their own, because some folks might want to see Michael Bay-esque shit in the Transformers universe. Some of us might want to see the G1 stuff. Some of us want to see a blend of both. Like Rise of Beasts was pretty cool to me. I like it.
Agreed.
Even though people are like, "Oh, that one was good," I'm like,
"Get the fuck out." Like that movie,
yeah. There were some folks on Twitter trying to tell me that Rise of the Beast was ass. I was like, "Bro, are you serious? The Last Night exists. Have you not seen it?
It doesn't have a racist in it. What are we talking about?
Like, bro, it had Toby Newigwe in it, bro. Houston legend, bro.
Baby.
We represent,
Houston, baby.
It had my boy, most hated Anthony Ramos. That's why Gerardo's not here today. That's why Gerardo's not here today, because he would have lost his shit.
Though. Sorry.
We love Anthony.
Love you, Anthony.
Rise of the Beast was like, it felt like a good return to form for the Transformers universe, and this is another return to form on the animated front. So I think if they move forward with like Transformers 1 Part 2, two Transformers.
Don't name it that, because you're already gonna alienate a lot.
If y'all not knowing by now that we are some real staunch allies in here, then you don't know.
But
you're not being a real Cinestro. You're not a real Podvenger.
If you happen to be a piece of shit, that probably you probably should name it that. So you know.
At least you're just cutting it bold.
Exactly. To be a Transformers 1 Part 2. Transformers 1.2.
Transformers 2.
Transformers 2. Yeah, exactly.
Nah, yeah. And then Transformers 3 is just going to be the 3 for the E.
Yeah.
Then
Transformers, hire us.
But it's going to be like Fan 4 Stick.
Yeah. He said, we feel like a bunch of... someone's going to say, we feel like a bunch of Transformers. And Optimus is going to say...
Say that again.
Say that again.
Say that again. Say that again.
There you go. That was good.
It's almost like Peter Cullen's in the room.
You gave it what, a 7.5?
Yeah, I definitely give that 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. I feel like.
What about Wild Robot?
Score, it was, bro,
go for
10
it.
out of 10.
Sorry.
Hands down. Oh yeah, but Transformers 1. I feel like it was good with the voice acting. Third act saved it for sure. Maybe in the next film. Obviously, we're past the origin. It's an origin film, so now we're into a new adventure for these guys. Get right into it.
Cybertron, right?
Get right into the meat and potatoes. Get straight to it. If you want to start off, and I know Graham talks about the video games a lot. If you want to start off some energy like that, if you want to do some shit like that, go for it. Because I know folks will eat it up. I will eat it up. I'm locked in. So definitely give that 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. Hopefully they do make another movie and follow it up with another banger.
War for Cybertron. Yeah, exactly.
Please, inshallah. And then what's it called? The Wild Robot, like a 10 out of 10. Top marks. No notes.
I agree. I gave it a 5 on Letterboxd. I gave it 5 stars, and maybe it's like I'm in the moment. I was like in the right mindset for it, like maybe it just worked and it was firing and it really got to me. And maybe on a rewatch, I'll be like, okay, it's not a 5 stars. I'll bump it down to a 4 or 4.5, whatever. But as of right now, like upon initial viewing, it was just like, it was everything I wanted from that experience. It was everything I wanted from that movie, and it was everything I needed. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars out of 5. I gave it probably like a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's damn near a perfect movie. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's amazing. And I'll watch Transformers 1 I wasn't excited for it because I think the trailers and the marketing for it are kind of poor.
It's
I don't
dog
think
shit.
I think it's dog shit. Yeah, it didn't make me excited. I was like, this looks dumb and kind of corny and lame.
Fire the marketing director for this movie and for Bullet Train because we were deceived. We were misled.
Exactly. So, but
misled.
Like, but hearing what you say about it and kind of like what works and what doesn't work, I'll definitely check it out. And because it seems like it's not as bad as I thought it was, because I thought it was a flop and just gonna be one of like the worst things I've ever seen. But it seems like it's got a lot of like
it's
goodwill and a lot of it's got some gas. Yeah, exactly. It's got some juice
gas
behind it. So
it's got some energon. Some energon behind
whatever
it,
that means. Yeah. I'll check it out.
Real energon users know the real. Nah, yeah, exactly. It's just really great seeing, especially coming off of a month where we saw some questionable films get released. Not September, August, really. August.
Y'all are lucky. Y'all are lucky we aren't covering Megaflopolis on this bitch.
I'd rather
we might have
paint dry. I'd rather. Matter of fact, we haven't had an outright slander episode in a while. We need to get back to our roots.
We might have to.
We need to return to form and bully this film. Everybody involved, you're not surviving that one. That's gonna be our most viewed episode.
Yeah, we might have to shit on Megalopolis.
We might get banned from reviewing movies after that day. Because the way I'm about to dismantle that film, bro. If the rest of the movies like that clip we saw on Twitter, I don't even want to watch.
Go to the club.
Go to the club. I was like, what did he say? What did he say?
I don't get it, bro. I don't get the Adam Driver hype.
I'm not sold.
Convince me.
His best role was Black Klansman.
But anyways, yes, go watch these movies. Go watch animation. It's a beautiful medium.
Support.
Incredibly talented people are behind it. And yeah, man, go watch. Go watch animation, bro. Fuck, stop being so close-minded. Tap in.
Exactly. Wild Robot, solid film. Transformers 1, solid film. There's other good films out in theaters right now, but I think these two shine more brightly, more bigger. Don't get me wrong. Beetlejuice was great.
Go watch The Substance. Phenomenal film. One of the best of the year. Beautiful. Amazing. Incredible. That's filmmaking, baby. That's cinema. Capital C cinema. Go watch The Substance right now. Baby. Yeah, I'm on that.
I'm on some substance right now.
But yeah. Anyways,
Speaking of substance, this has been a very great episode, chock full of just the right takes, phenomenal takes from your favorite podcasts on earth. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Huge thanks to everyone who taps in with us here on Spotify, YouTube, the Twitter, all of that things. Follow us on all platforms. TikTok. We locked in on Tic-Tac-Toe. Follow us on Cinestro at Cinestro Corp, no S. We've got an epic lineup this year that you don't want to miss. We're entering the last part of the year, and they got banger films coming out, and we will be reviewing them.
Oh, Luis on his. Y'all thought I was pretentious before. Wait till all these fucking awards films come out. Y'all ain't ready. 2, I'm bored the fuck out of y'all.
Y'all not gonna like the person I become when the Gladiator 2. I'm gonna start speaking ancient Greek, real Roman, real. You don't know what's going on. So yes, definitely tap in. You don't want to miss what we got coming up. Remember to smash that like and subscribe button so I'll never miss a beat. Show us some love by leaving us a stellar 5-star review wherever you catch this podcast. Go ahead and spread the word about our podcast and our YouTube channel far and wide. Share it with your friends, your family, your entire network. Y'all support means the absolute world to us. We're trying to keep growing and keep glowing because that's what we do here, baby.
Nice.
And until next time, guys, stay awesome. Tap in, stay in school, enjoy your substances responsibly, and then we'll see you on the next episode of the Cinestro Core. Peace.
We're the kings of the screen, yeah. Cinestro Core, we're the